In this video, I'm going to show you the number one reason why they want you to nut so bad. The number one reason why they want you to nut so bad is because they want you to be complacent. Repeat after me. They want you to be complacent. Because if you're complacent, then you cannot think for yourself. If you're complacent, you can't think about anything else. You're in this paradigm. Bob Proctor, the late Bob Proctor, was talking about a paradigm. He made a book about the paradigm. A paradigm is just how much you can allow yourself to think in some sort of box. Now, your life results are based off your paradigm. If you think big, the magic of thinking big, you're gonna get big results. But if you put yourself in some sort of box, if you keep thinking in some sort of box, you're going to have this paradigm where you can only get so much results. So the bottom line is you have to uncap your paradigm. And how do you uncap your paradigm? You uncap your paradigm by having more brain activity and allowing yourself to be curious and to start thinking a lot more. The more you can do this, the more you're going to have bigger results. But if you keep relapsing, especially with your hand, if you keep relapsing consistently, what's going to happen is you're going to be capped in the way you think. And because you're capped in the way you think, you can only get so much results. This is how they want you to be. This is another thing when it comes to jobs. When it comes to salary jobs, they give you they give you just enough so you can survive and have just a little bit more enough to put away. But you're kind of capped in terms of income because you're working so much hours, you're gonna get just so much income. You have to realize this. So you have to uncap your way, how you think. You have to lift the lid off the security and just think of a way where you can, earn more, be more expressive in how you, more creative in how you earn, and eventually you will become free. But if you're in a domesticated state, if you're domesticated, if all your natural things are taken care of, then there's no reason for you to think outside of the box. This is how you keep in this perpetual box, this perpetual state of convenience, the state of just enough, and the state of just getting by. This is exactly where they want you, because if you can't think, if you're not in a sense of trying to think yourself out of something, then you're always going to be in this routine of complacency. This is just how you have to realize. And the bottom line is a lot of people don't care enough. They don't care enough because they have their needs met. As long as they have their needs met, there's no reason for them to actually think of a way, to get them out of a box. But how do you solve this? You solve this by one, challenging yourself, and two, pushing yourself to the limit. This is the only way you can actually transcend your life. It's the only way you can actually, find some ways to transcend your life. Because once you're transcending your life, if you're finding a way to transcend your life, you can actually get ahead because you no longer have a cap on how you're thinking. And PMO fapping is going to put you in this perpetual state of just enough. But if you, starve yourself of the biggest desire for man, procreation, if you starve yourself for this for a period of time, you're going to go berserk inside, and you're going to be a lot more creative because when your creative juices are flowing. You can really get yourself in a way out of certain things and put you in a state where you're very, you're doing very well for yourself just because you challenge yourself and you starve yourself enough to not be instantly gratified. It's all about delaying gratification. If you can delay gratification for an extended period of time, pretty much get anything that you want because you're not like the next person who needs the next hit of dopamine every single time. You hit your next hit of dopamine usually comes from social media, the foods that you eat, and the content that you watch. So make sure that you're delaying your gratification and only giving yourself things that you need to grow. Once you're able to do this, things are going to be a lot easier for you. You have to realize this. So the bottom line is they want you to nut so bad is because they want to put you in a perpetual state where you're not thinking anymore. You're on autopilot. If they can get you like this, then a lot of things are definitely easier for you. A lot of things are definitely easier for you just because you don't need anybody else. You're not thinking anymore. You're just on autopilot. Because you're on autopilot, there's no way you're ever going to think about how to get yourself out of something or how to even earn more. How to get freedom. If a person is given consistent S3X, they're given they're giving cheap dopamine and foods, there's no way they're going to actually think of themselves in a way to, get themselves out of a box. This is how you have to realize, and this is where you start, gaining more than you need to. You start not taking care of yourself because you're being fed all this cheap dopamine. These are some of the things you have to realize. You have to realize this. There's a few people who actually notice this and are doing everything themselves to get out of this mediocrity, and there's 95% of everybody else who even may know this, but they don't care enough because all of their natural needs are met. These are some of the things that you have to realize. These are some of the things that you have to realize. So they want you to nut so bad is because they don't want you to think. And because they don't want you to think, you're being controlled based off consumerism. You're being controlled off all the things that make you feel good in a certain moment. You're being controlled by instant gratification. You're being controlled by Netflix. You're being controlled by fast food. You're being controlled by the media. You're being controlled by cheap entertainment, cheap games, the new NCAA 25. These things are meant to put your focus on things that don't matter. Because they're putting your focus on things that don't matter, you're going to stay in the same spot. Now, like I said, a lot of people don't even mind being in the spot they're in because some of the desires are met. Entertainment is met. Their lust is met, so they don't care enough. You give a man cheap dopamine, all his desires, all the things that he's striving for out the window. All his goes out the window, and he will eventually concede to life. Don't let that be you. Do not let that be you. If you understand what I'm saying in this video, I hope you like the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one.